Hey guys, so I was reading through some really interesting news today, and I came upon this opinion article in the International Business Times. It kind of hit me because my degree is in entrepreneurship, and this really smart guy named Craig Hall, and he kind of talked about how the wealth inequality in the U.S. and he said that entrepreneurship could really solve this because for the last probably 30 or 40 years, entrepreneurs who have started new businesses have been the backbone of hiring people in America and creating new jobs over the last probably 3 to 4 decades. And he kind of started to talk about, which was really interesting. He said that the divide between the haves and the have-nots in this world has expanded even more. So the lower percent of the people have even in the world, not in the not in the United States, but in the world are making less money than they have ever made before, and the richer have become even more rich, even 50 times percent that. So as he had said, which was really interesting, he said the share of the wealth held by the bottom half of earners has plunged more than 50% since 2000. So in 20 years, in 2 decades, practically, the wealth of the lower 50% has fallen, or the lower, probably the less than 15% has fallen over 50% over the last 20 years, which is kind of astronomical. And my parents have always said this to me, which is really interesting. In the world, in the future, it's going to be the future of the have and the have-nots, and kind of how the middle class in America is really getting pushed out. You either are on the upper end of the scale and are making a ton of money, or you're barely scraping by paying the bills. And he had talked about how he had grown up and how as an entrepreneur he had created businesses, which kind of got him out of his situation of being poor in Upper Michigan to where he was today. And he kind of talked about how entrepreneurship is really the fighting factor of inequality. He kind of talked about how people like college students like Zuckerberg out of his dorm room created Facebook and became a multimillionaire. Steve Jobs starting his company out of his garage, or Bill Gates starting very humble beginnings and then growing into these multimillionaires. All these tech people that have started really with nothing or started with minimal poverty or just right out of college, and how they became multimillionaires overnight, and how they created business and not only bettered themselves, but also they created a lot more opportunity for many others with creating many more jobs. And he kind of talked about, which is really interesting, which I want to read to you just verbatim because I don't want to get it wrong. He said, entrepreneurs are not confined to Silicon Valley. They're retailers that start with one store, craftsmen whose first product line is in their garage, tradesmen who bet that there's a local market for their skills. These businesses help people have jobs and create jobs, lift people out of poverty and drive wealth creation, which is so true. He said in 2017, incorporated small businesses owners made over $50,000 a year on average, about twice the federal level of the poverty line for a family of four. So a lot of small entrepreneurs are actually doing very well for themselves and actually are able to support their family with an actually decent salary. They're not actually struggling working maybe a normal job but only making $10 an hour. They're actually making $50,000-$60,000 a year on average, which really helps their family out and allows them to prosper. And also they're their own boss. And a lot of these people in these small communities, I know, especially a lot of my family's from Wisconsin, that a lot of these small communities really depend on these entrepreneurs creating businesses for people in these towns, or a lot of these people would be homeless or not have a job and have to live off government assistance completely. But a lot of these people provide opportunities for these citizens, which allows them to kind of prosper and makes the economy grow. Another interesting stat which I wanted to read, which is really interesting because I want to make sure I get it right. Small businesses account for 44% of the U.S. economic activity. So almost half of the U.S. economy is literally powered by small businesses and entrepreneurs who created these businesses. So if there was no small businesses and there's only corporations, you could see the poverty rate being even higher than it is right now, which is honestly absolutely crazy and outstanding. Like, it's hard to even get my head around that really small businesses and entrepreneurs power America. Because obviously all the big corporations really get what people are talking, get all the media attention and stuff like that. But it's the small businesses that are really growing and expanding and allowing people to have a better opportunity in their community and raising the boats, everyone's boats up. So people are being only more prosperous. Towns are being more economically funded, and also the world is actually just continuing to grow because these small businesses are powering it. So it's really interesting. And also more than 60% of new jobs from 1993 to 2016 were founded by entrepreneurs or small business people. And I know this too. My dad's a small business owner, and he's created a really great business for himself. That really a lot of people have great ideas and really can make a difference in the world. But the biggest struggle has been that I just, in my personal opinion, that the federal government and the small business division of the government does not really help entrepreneurs out enough. I think obviously a lot of people say the funding is great, but I honestly think it needs to be easier to get access to loans. As you've seen over COVID, some of these big multi-million dollar corporations are getting these loans that don't even need them. And a lot of small businesses are having trouble getting these loans. And the small businesses and entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of our community, not only our communities, but our country and the world. So we really, really need to support them. So that's why I kind of want to talk about this article, because it was really, really interesting, because it truly is, entrepreneurs are truly powering the economy. And if we can empower them more, lessen regulation, allow them to better access to loans and better access to capital, different types of capital, and different people that invest, and we really invest in our communities more, we could really have a more prosperous and successful United States of America, and or just our community like Napa, California, Fort Worth, Texas, New York, Miami, Florida. If we could really focus on our communities and really give the entrepreneurs the support they need, they can really, really have an economic positivity to our whole country and allow people to have jobs, get people out of poverty, get people really more people working, and more people feeling that their American dream is actually possible. Because today I feel like a lot of people feel like the American dream is not possible. But if we really are able to power these entrepreneurs to really create these businesses and not only make the world a better place, but make their communities a better place, I think we'll have a world that's more just, more caring, and more together than ever before. And it's totally possible, because there's so many people out there that have amazing ideas and really are trying to make the world a better place. And I know that through continued effort and continued rewriting of the law and continuing to vote for the people that really are willing to help entrepreneurs in local communities, it's not just the presidential election that matters, it's local elections, people that vote on laws to affect your local community, state elections, everything's important. And you really, really got to be out there and really paying attention to what's going on, because these decisions not only affect you, but they affect your family, they affect your friend. So please, when the election's coming up, please vote. It is very important. And also too, it's really important, I think, in my personal opinion, just through experience and reading this article from Eric, which is really a smart guy. He said entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of America. They what have made America great. And if we can give them more support, I think we can truly be a better country and a more just country. So just wanted to tell you about that. I hope you have a great day, and take care of yourself.